Here's the NAS. I have the Synology DS1821 Plus. It came very recommended. I took the big leap I've been kind of waiting to make for years. If you're watching this, it means you're considering probably the same thing, or you've already pulled the trigger and are ready to set yours up. I found myself a little frustrated by the videos that I was finding on here. A lot of language that I didn't understand, which people always acknowledged, but I was struggling a little bit to find like the basics of just like how this system works, how you're going to need to have it set up in your space for your workflow. And so I'm going to have this video and probably a couple other videos about this setup so that I can hopefully explain this to other beginners like me. So if you want to see those other videos, I'll link the playlist down below in the description as well. One of the main reasons why I got this too is because I already have maybe 50, 60 terabytes of stuff from old drives to put onto this sucker. I wanted room to expand. Plus, if you run out of room with this, you're a little bit future-proof because you can get 2 expansion units that will just connect to this as well, so you won't have to immediately upgrade your whole system as soon as you fill this up. This is everything that's on the back. eSATA 1, eSATA 2, USB, Ethernet. So we're gonna figure out together what all this means, how we're gonna set this up. So right away, I know that I'm gonna have to connect this to my Ethernet port. I know that because I watched some YouTube videos and talked to my friend Jake Frew. I have 18 terabyte drives. I also got them renewed on Amazon. I had a couple friends who recommended that's what they used. Brings the price tag down a little bit, and they said they haven't had any issues with them, knock on wood. So as I'm trying to set this up, I am figuring this out as I go along. I'm also going to have my wife help me with some of this. Her brain works in this way in ways that mine doesn't. But it looks like these are going to go on the inside through the front, and there's like 2 slots where these can go on the side. Just let's talk about it. You have to open a panel on the bottom to replace the RAM to insert this memory upgrade. At first thought, because I ordered these like 2 weeks ago, I was like, are these the same? Are these the same function? I'm looking at the images on Amazon. I think they're not the same function. I think this is something that I'm just going to have to like plug in. And this is something where I'm going to have to like replace one of the Ethernet ports potentially. All right, so let's just dive right in. My wife is here to assist. As I said, she's much better at this than I am. I'm also always worried that I'm going to break stuff. Just having a little too much strength, a little too much oomph behind some of these things that are fragile and easily broken, potentially. So although going through this build, I think I could have done it. But she starts by taking this panel off, and then we're working on putting this Ethernet, replacing this part here. So she's taking the screw out of here so that we can take that piece out and put our Synology replacement piece in there. And this is the Synology piece that I'm talking about. Again, everything that I use in this build is going to be linked in the description, but this is what it looks like, and we needed a flashlight.
Okay, so these line up into that. Like that. Push down. Or does it just sit?
No, it's going to push down.
Good. And then this pops back down. And this screw goes.
So my goal here really is to just give you a complete walkthrough of this install because I wasn't really finding it on YouTube when I needed it, and I'm a beginner, so if this is helpful, I'm glad. We're just going to keep going through this together.
This is going to be too long for any of that. I think this is if you are adapting it into a non-Synology, or if it's a different Synology one. Okay. Is my assumption, because this is the same piece that's on the outside of this. Okay. I don't know, that fits into it just like how I took the other one out, because that one's only this long. Like, unless, yeah, I just don't think we need it.
And after 6 months of use, everything is working well, so it seems she was right. And now she is putting the outer casing back on, screwing these pieces back in. Definitely want to keep track of these screws. And then we're going to work on this memory upgrade. So we've got the back panel here, and we just remove those screws. And then you've got...
So we're going to take this one out.
What is already here. You got to take out. And we looked up several videos to make sure we didn't break this part before doing anything. But it's pretty simple.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they do leave that on there. And that's just on the back. So I leave that paper on there.
So for sure you're going to want to be careful with these pins. These are all breakable, but it was fairly easy to install. Now we just get to screw that panel back on. And now we need to install these 2 terabyte SSDs. The idea is I'm hoping that these are going to be like a cache for editing, a little faster editing speed. And we'll see if that works out.
You know how to line it up because there's like a small section, an opening, and then a big section. Because then in here, when you look at it, there's like a little opening. And you just reach it in there, slot that sucker in. It's a little click. And then you just push it in. So it latches. Sick balls.
All right, so now we have the renewed 18 terabyte Iron Wolf Pro drives. I've heard from a lot of people, and obviously right away I'm noticing that these look very different from any of the pictures, where all of these Iron Wolf Pro ones have like a red face here and have like a wolf on them. None of these drives that we just got have that, so that's just something to keep in mind. But let me show you the install here up next as well.
These parts need to go on this side. So that means they need to sit like this. Maybe, oh, here. You pop these off.
Pop them out to put it in.
Yep, and then they, oh fuck. These pop off of both sides. So then this sits right in. Then you take these and then you just pop those back in. So they've got like little things that like hold it tight. So these little peg pieces, like those little pieces that stick out, go into those holes. And so then they just kind of squeeze it in.
Screws are needed if you're filling this with SSDs, because the SSDs are smaller and they don't fit in this compartment snugly. So you have to screw them in. We don't need them for these.
So these fill up the whole things, and then those little peg pieces fit into the screw holes, and then that's what holds it tight. So like this now is completely tight in there. And you get a little click when you put it in. Works great. Just took a little time to get them all set up. And let me tell you, we have been working with this NAS now in our workflow for over 6 months, and it's been completely life-changing. Now we are so much more organized with all of our data. We've got everything backed up to it. We're just not handing back and forth drives constantly, wondering where specific clips are. We just know that they're there. It was an incredible investment. I wish that I had done it sooner, but also you're just gonna be ready when you're ready. I'm going to put out a few more videos about the Synology. First and foremost, why we chose this one. There are a ton of options on the market. I went through a lot of research. I'll share that with you. We run 6 online brands, and we're going to be showing you how we leverage this NAS to make our lives so much easier and just how it's fitting into our workflow. I will show you how we actually set up our folder structure and how we transitioned from having 20 external hard drives, now having a workflow fully on the NAS. You can find those videos linked in the description or somewhere on this video.